Welcome to the Saints Happy Hour podcast, featuring Dave Cariello, Andrew Juge, Ralph Malbrough, and when he decides to show up, Kevin Held. We are the perfect blend of Saints sincerity and stupidity.
Ingram, my DF, took it to the house and finished it off with a nice little spinorama at the end. It was a thing of beauty.
Your pillow talk that evening must have been spectacular.
Oh yeah, I put that one in the spank bank.
Should we retry this?
You can't make Ralph do the ad again.
And now, here's your host, Ralph Malbrough.
All right, welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. I believe we are having a chaos in the live stream room. Andrew, is that
No,
correct?
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm good to go.
Are you seeing the live stream correctly?
I'm not in the live stream now.
Yeah, I think the live stream is
Dead?
I think the live stream is Capuzzo. So everybody,
Very on brand for us. Very
Your
on brand.
idea, by the way, was good, Ralph. I joined the call and it didn't do the thing.
everyone, give us 2 minutes.
It looks like it's live. I'm in the live YouTube channel. It seems to be working.
Okay, does everybody hear us in the live stream? Can they hear us? What are they saying? Because mine.
Yeah, it's live.
Okay.
Everybody. Yeah.
All right, good. So, welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. The YouTube on my end is a fuzzy screen, but whatever. So we're good. Welcome to Saints Happy Hour. Saints football is upon us. This is very on brand for our show. So Dave, my degenerate gambling can begin anew like a fresh flower blooming. If people want to join me and be a degenerate and gamble online, where should they go?
Well, since we've started the show, we talk a lot about gambling and point spreads and all that kind of stuff. We get asked all sorts of questions about who to bet on and who to bet with. And we don't have all the answers for that because we're not mind readers. We can't see the future, and we don't have Biff Tannen's almanac from Back to the Future. But we do know if you are going to bet, we do know where to send you, and that is MyBookie. Between their live in-game betting, endless props, and fantasy sports wagers, there's something for everyone. With the best player perks in the sportsbook business, they've been good to us, and we know they'll be good to you. They're hooking our listeners up all month. Visit mybookie.ag and use the promo code HAPPY25 when creating your account to claim your 50% bonus. Laying down $100? Boom, you've got an extra $50 in play. That's mybookie.ag. Promo code HAPPY25. You play, you win, you get paid.
Dave, you're so fucking good at that ad, and I hate you for it. I will never not hate the fact. Like, I should be a good friend and be like, he's better than me. He's doing it now. It makes the show sound more professional. Isn't that great? We're coming a long way. But I just want to fucking punch.
But you're
you in the
just
nuts.
bitter.
I'm bitter.
That's okay. That's okay. I think Les
I'm
East
bitter.
is a better writer than you.
But Dave, were you in the audience last night for the biggest Tulane football crowd of the year?
I like the
funny.
perfect segue to get his revenge there.
Yeah, real funny.
Twist the knife.
I actually wasn't. I was. My wife and I went to Baton Rouge to go do some work on the new store, and by the time we came back and picked up the kids, it was too late, which sucks because I would have liked to have gone, and I think I was able to get into the Glazer Club, which is like the special section since I'm a ticket holder and all that kind of stuff.
Dave,
But no, I didn't go. But I saw. Did Drew Brees walk home again and order Jimmy John's on his way home?
he got mobbed by like the Balin's flag football team or something.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas is looking good.
He's had plenty of rest, so he should be looking good.
I mean, what the thing is, why do they put that practice on a Sunday night? Wouldn't it draw even more people if they did it on like a Friday or Saturday? You know, or is
Yeah.
Sunday night a good night for it? You think? I just feel like they drew 12, but if they did it on a Saturday, man, they could get like 20. I feel like they could fill that stadium.
Yeah, you're probably right, but I guess there's other logistical reasons why they don't do it, but I don't know what those are.
People are just savaging me in the chat room about my reading ability. But okay, so the Saints play Friday. Andrew, you're going. Dave, you will be in attendance too, correct? Or are you skipping out?
I think I'm gonna. I hate the 7 o'clock games. I want to take my daughter to her first Saints game. She's 4 years old. She's asked me about going. She wants to go. But I don't want to take her to, so a noon game is the optimal time for a 4-year-old, but I don't want to take her to a regular season game. I want to take her to a preseason game, and both of them are at 7 at night. So I don't know. I actually thought about this yesterday. I probably need to put them on StubHub and see if I can get, or not even, I can just put them on the ticket exchange or whatever. I probably ought to just sell them and try to get some money for them.
Recoup the money. You just ought to put them on a.
I mean, I'm not going to recoup is the wrong word, because I'm not going to get as much as I paid for them.
No.
But
Yeah, I mean, for
get some money.
preseason, you're lucky if you get like $30 for your tickets.
Well, not my tickets. Maybe your shitty tickets.
You could
not
literally put them on by the cash register of your store, and it would be 50-50 that people would take them.
Dave,
So-
why you gotta?
I'm feeling a little sassy tonight. I'm feeling a little sassy.
Dave.
Your tickets aren't even better than mine.
Where do you sit?
I sit in the club level, baby.
Oh, I thought I thought you were in the terrace.
Step down.
Let it be known
Heel.
that my tickets are in section 641. If you ever want to come visit me, I'm the cripple guy walking up and down the aisle.
I know.
Be
I
there-
can't believe
be,
they make.
be there
I
about
believe they
4
make-
games a year.
I can't believe they make the handicapped go all the way up there.
They do. It's just wrong. And being that I almost possibly win awards, you would think they would let me use the elevator or something. Get me nice seats. Give me one of them like chairs that goes up the stairs. For the old people.
They really should greet you with a wheelchair.
Yes. I mean, or like one of them motorized scooters. Not even like wheelchairs.
Oh yeah.
Because I only have the one good arm, so I can't do the wheels. I gotta have electric power. So
Yeah, I'm not pumped that.
There's nothing
I'm
wrong
going
with
to
your
the Saints.
legs.
no, I got a rod in my leg too, Dave. I mean, I can walk.
Do
But
you?
I got 2 pins and a rod in there, man. When I was a kid,
I didn't
yeah,
know
when
that.
I
What
was a
happened?
kid, they broke it and like had to turn it out, man. I was like at the cutting.
Andrew,
I was like the
Andrew
cutting
Platt
edge of
in
like.
the chat.
What's
Andrew
that?
Platt in the chat. Andrew Platt in the chat says that alcoholism isn't a handicap.
It is a disease, though, Andrew. It is a disease. I love it. I love the live streams. I hope you people join me. It may be me flying solo Friday because Dave will be at the game, Andrew will be at the game. I might have to fly solo drunk after, and I might be in a rage because the Game Pass for NFL Game Pass, if you're familiar with it, the opening weekend, NFL, like half the time they have major fucking technical issues. So there's like a 50-50 shot that I'll be following the Saints game along on the Twitters.
Wait, so
Speaking-
Dave,
hang
who
out
are
with
you
next
taking?
weekend.
Are you taking your daughter or you're taking someone else?
No, I don't know. I may not even go. I may not
okay.
even go.
You just,
But
if you don't,
Ralph, let me know. I may hang out with you still.
Okay.
we can hang out. And in fact, everybody, I'm planning on doing the live stream. I'm starting that thing up the beginning of the 4th quarter because it's the fucking preseason and your people are zoning out anyway. So speaking of the actual game, Andrew.
Actually, I don't know about that. If the 4th quarter, you might have. I mean, if Taysom is playing quarterback, I'm paying
That's
attention.
true.
I'm fucking watching.
I mean, Dave, we had Ozigbo getting reps with the first team at running back. I saw little Jordan Humphrey. I saw 2 different video clips of him catching passes.
That's my boy. That's my boy.
That's your
I love
boy.
So proud of him.
Besides that, Andrew, like
so
serious.
Let me just say this
God
about
is good. God
Dave's
is good.
son. He's lucky that first cuts don't exist anymore because he'd be on that list.
Oh, he would be. He would be.
Yeah, not gonna work here anymore anyway. Hey, Mr. Mike.
Nice.
Yeah, we got that. We got this soundbite, and let me say with the people in the chat room, we're trying to figure out a soundbite to play to mock the Atlanta Falcons, and this is the first one that I came up with.
Hey, take the garbage out front, son.
And that we play that every time Atlanta gets mentioned on the podcast. So we got some other ideas, but y'all think of that. That was one of the joy. Atlanta looked like garbage Thursday, which
I mean, I think with the Atlanta. By the way, send me the link to the live chat so I can join in. But I think what the Atlanta soundbite should be, it should be, you know, I don't know who called the Super Bowl that they lost. Was it Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth? Whoever was calling the game, the Super Bowl, when they blew the 25-point lead. The soundbite should be like one of them mentioning the score, like right now the Falcons lead the Patriots 28-2 or whatever, and then that we play that every time.
Oh, by the way, tell the people what you saw. The greatest license plate in the history of license plates.
I didn't see that. That was actually Dane Noble, who I'm friends with on Facebook, who used to run SB Nation's Chicago Bears blog. He actually, and he lives in New Orleans too, believe it or not. He's from northern Louisiana. I don't know how he became a Bears fan, but he saw that and took a picture and posted it on Facebook. And it was a Jeep, and it had a no white flags Gleason sticker, and the license plate said 25 points. Total troll move. But the problem that I have with that though is, again, first of all, I think we may be cursing ourselves
because we enjoyed 28-3
trolling. Because since the Falcons blew 25-point lead, and we've been relentless about it. We lost to the Vikings with the Stephon Diggs touchdown at the last second. Obviously, the no call. So I don't know. We may be screwing ourselves, but my point is like, yeah, I mean, I guess it's funny, but get a Saints license plate. Like now your license plate is about the Falcons. You're driving around with technically a Falcons license plate. Like if you're a real Saints fan, you should have something that has to do with the Saints. And it's almost I hate to say it, but I mean it's getting a little pathetic. Like we
blasphemy. Could you
spend more time hating the Falcons than we do loving the Saints?
Could Dave? It sounds like you could give up 28-3 if it meant the Saints winning a Super Bowl, but you couldn't make a 28-3 reference ever again.
That might need to be what happens.
Andrew, could you do it? I could try to do it. I just don't know if I'd be capable. I'd have to get off of social media completely. I could try, and if God said, "Look, Ralph, all you have to do for the Saints to win a Super Bowl is not make 28-3 jokes," I would be like, "Okay, I'll do it," and I would say I would do it, but I don't know if I actually could do it. I'd have to get off social media completely, and probably have to shut down this podcast. Andrew, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Could you give up 28-3 jokes or no?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you put it to me like that you could win a Super Bowl, I mean, I could do a lot of things for a Super Bowl. I mean, I'm not sure there's anything I can't do, if that's the deal.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I couldn't do.
Wait.
Like if you told me just, hey, you really need to stop doing that. It's disrespectful. Like if you put it to me that way, there's no way I'm stopping.
Wait. Let's not forget. Lest we forget, 2 weeks ago, Andrew was ready to be possessed by Satan himself for 6 fucking months just to get another Super Bowl. So giving up the 28-3.
The caveat there was once Satan left me. The caveat was that once Satan left me, that I would get my life back. And I wouldn't be in jail or dead or whatever.
Would you Uber to hell for a world championship for the Saints?
I literally got a text from my buddy on Monday afternoon after that podcast aired, and he was like, "That was the right answer about Satan. You don't want to be possessed by Satan." Like that was it. That was the only. He was like, "That was a good answer."
Yeah, they had about 6 people that were just like deadly serious about not being possessed by the devil.
I talk to Ralph every day. I'm already possessed by Satan.
You are.
And by the way, quit giving me a hard time. Yeah, I forgot 28-3. All right, there's a lot going on. I got ads to read. I got sound bites to come up with. I've already had a full day of regular work. Lay off. All
He's
right?
got to mail like half a dozen shirts to you people. By the way, we're mailing out the stuff for the koozies, the magnets, and the shirts in the next week or so. So if you don't have your shirts by the first week and you don't have your magnets and your koozies, like let me know through DM or
Lynch Ralph.
Lynch me, because as we speak, my wife is writing up labels and mailing out stuff. So, people on the chat, there's probably like 2 or 3 of them that want us to talk actual football on the game. So as far as the actual game, Dave, when you go and sit in the seat or not, and you just
Probably
bullshit
not.
with me, and we're both drunk in the post game. What is something that you are going to be either looking for at the game or on TV you're going to be watching with that's like actually football related that you could be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see.
Well,
I want to see how that works out.
Well, I mentioned it earlier, actually, and I had just thought of it right then and there. But I mean, Drew's probably not going to play, so all we've got on the roster is Teddy and Taysom.
JT Barrett, did
right?
they re-sign him today?
Oh, did they sign him today?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
So that means, you're looking at probably like a half for each guy, or you're going to see both of them a pretty good chunk of it, and so I'm interested to see both of them. Really, I think that's the most interesting thing. But outside of that, I guess. I'd like to see. I haven't been to any of the training camp practices, so I want to see what all this Emmauel Butler hype is about.
Did he practice last night?
I don't know.
And today?
No, but today he was on the side. When they usually bring him back to the sidelines when they're getting close. So he was one of those guys like stretching it out.
He's gonna want to. He's gonna want to play in the game. Yeah, he's gonna. If he's even remotely able to play, he needs to be playing. And on the other side of the ball now, you've got the what's his face, the Saquon Hampton.
Stealing Butler's shine as
I want
to.
I almost call him Saquon Barkley every time.
Yeah, I know.
Like I have to pause and stop myself.
So anyway, that's what I'm most excited for.
What are the odds that I call him Saquon Barkley Hampton if he makes a good play during the regular season?
I don't even think Vegas would even set.
Is that like a indirect confusion with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson because it's like the double name thing? So you just Saquon Hampton Barkley, like
Chauncey Gardner Hampton. You just merge them into one person, which of course will happen. So Andrew got his shots off about me looking terrible last Thursday after the Mike Thomas contract extension on Channel 4, Dave, and the cat jumping behind me. Do you have any comments that you want to share with the people? You didn't see that? Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. His shot is that you're not worthy of him watching.
Well, no, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did click the link you sent, and I did watch a little bit of it, and I saw the beginning, and I liked how right up the top you went right after Paulson. You went right after. You said, Paulson, what the fuck? You don't call me? You don't talk? What's going on? I thought we were friends.
Take the shot. I got it. But you know who had the best joke?
Hashtag fuck less East.
You said that, not me. Of course, I'll get blamed for that comment because no one ever says, whenever they have something critical to say about the podcast, they always direct it at me. They never say, Andrew or Dave. I say, well, Andrew or Dave said that. Take it up with them. They're like, no, they didn't. It's you. So it'll all get back to me. But actually, Dave.
By the way, I was joking. I don't want to fuck less East, but
maybe just.
But he did. He did tweet earlier today promoting him being on the show with Eric Asher or whatever, and he was like, "Oh, and you get me, and what could be better?" And I almost wanted to, retweet with a comment, be like, Ralph Malbrough would be better. God, I wanted to do it so
The
bad.
award voters disagree.
He'd be
Yeah.
like, "You mean my bitch?" But actually, about my TV appearance, you know who had the most cutting, mean comment?
My wife.
She said my blinking made me look like I was trying to give a message to the outside world that my captors weren't treating me well.
You really did look like you were stroking out there for a second.
Which is that. So, Andrew, besides when we talk about stroking out, my UDFA son is going to get carries on Friday. Is there a chance
Who did you
that
pick again?
Ozigbo.
Ozigbo. So we got Ozigbo, we got Jaquiz Rogers, and we got Dwayne Washington. Who else is in the mix for the third running back? Is there somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, well, Matt Days if he plays, but he's been out injured. So yeah, it's weird, man. There's a few guys on this roster that must be close to. I just can't believe Granderson, my son, my UDFA, is still on this team. He's just kind of. I guess they're waiting to see what happens, but they must really like him.
Are you sure they just forgot to announce it? They maybe just forgot to announce it.
I think maybe they forgot he was on the team.
Maybe. His tape for Wyoming must be fucking amazing because he's in jail and they ain't cut him. I mean,
yeah,
it's
unbelievable.
Didn't Travin Durrell come back? Didn't they re-sign him?
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, he's back. He actually scored a touchdown. You would know that if you had gone to the game.
Yeah. Traquan Smith had caught a touchdown last night, so it was interesting. Here's the thing about the offensive line that's been really interesting is the number one draft pick has sort of taken over at center as the number one guy. Do you think, Andrew, that the way the line is, do you think Clapp or Tom become potential, like they might not be on this team?
Especially Will Clapp. I mean, it's a tough path to the roster. I would say interior line is probably the deepest of any position this year because you look at who they have just with their starters, obviously, and you mentioned Eric McCoy, and I think he's going to get the starting spot at center, and then obviously Warford and Pete are kind of the veterans that are there. But then you've got all these veterans. Like they just signed Patrick Omame, who's a 7-year guy, and he just started for the Jags last year. And, you got Marshall Newhouse, who's a 10-year veteran, and he's been playing some tackle. And he's another guy that they can move to guard if they need to in a pinch. So you don't really know who he's competing with. You've got Ryan Groy, who started for the Redskins at center. Obviously Nick Easton is the big free agent signing. So there's a lot of veterans in the mix. And that's probably the most surprising thing is just there's just a bunch of guys that have been in the league and they've done it. And so, it just becomes this question of, is Will Clapp going to beat all these guys out?
Teams are desperate for linemen, man. The Jets got Ryan Khalil to come out of retirement, and he was a fucking. I mean, is he McSpeed Bump that Cam Jordan used to call McSpeed Bump?
No, it was Speed Bump McGee was the nickname. I think those were the Falcons tackles, though.
Yeah, and then he came out of retirement from the Jets, and they traded for a backup tackle for Baltimore because they were worried that if Baltimore cut him, that they wouldn't get him and claim. So like, offensive lines for the NFL backups are just fucking trash piles, and I think it's one of the things that Saints fans we kind of underrate in that the Saints have had Senio Calamete and all these good backups for the last couple of years, and they still have sort of created that depth, which it's not as deep as it was, but I think I would put the Saints offensive line, their depth, like 1 to 7 against any team in the NFL, and it's probably better. We talked about running back earlier, Dave, but I want to preview it in depth now. And the thing with Kamara is how much extra like touches or carries or whatever do you think he's going to get this year in the absence of Mark Ingram, and how do you think that translates to him possibly having his best season ever, or the workload is too much and he'll get hurt? So where do you kind of fall on the Alvin Kamara's season, what it's going to be? Because a lot of people are like, he could be MVP. Guy for Sports Illustrated said he would have a monster year. What's your thoughts on Kamara heading into this year without Ingram as we preview running backs?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I think we need to look to last season and the first 4 games of the season when Ingram was out because he was suspended. I mean, I think that you would think that would give us a good, a good sample of what we might expect. And he was pretty awesome those first 4 games of the season. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he was pretty damn good. But to your second point, I do think that I think him being the guy every single game is probably too much. I would like to see the Saints limit him, and for the Saints to continue to be successful on offense, that means they've got to have somebody behind Kamara that's going to be able to keep up the production when Kamara is taking a rest or whatever. And also, I think that makes that's what's so frustrating about the Saints letting Ingram go is I really and truly believed that the 2 years that Kamara was here with, well, yes, I did love him very much. I would kiss him on the mouth if I could. But having him and Ingram together, I mean, they really did just complement each other so well. And I'm not talking about off the field. Obviously, they were besties off the field. And I'm gonna miss the post game, interviews with the two of them. But I mean, just from an offensive standpoint, going against defenses, you've got they're different styles, and it just sucks because there's nobody really on the roster right now that I am comfortable with, and I think you guys would probably agree that there's nobody on this team yet that we've seen who could potentially fill that Mark Ingram role.
Well, they paid
Mark Ingram, just to put the shoe on the other foot for a second, Mark Ingram's not going to have any fun in Baltimore. I can tell you right now, there's no way he's going to enjoy himself as much as he did.
He's going to certainly have – I was listening to the Ringer guys on their podcast, and when Lamar Jackson took over in Baltimore last season, nobody ran the ball. Surprisingly, you wouldn't think, but nobody ran the ball more than Baltimore. So, I mean, he's going to have – the Ravens are probably going to run the ball just as much, if not more, than any other team in the NFL. So I think he's going to certainly – and he didn't really get that.
He'll get his carries. I'm saying more like the locker room vibe. It's just not going to be as fun.
No, absolutely, totally agree. He's never going to replicate that ever in his career ever again.
He'll be back in 2 years.
To break the record.
Hopefully, Kamara's still here.
But
I know they brought in Latavius Murray, but that doesn't. I'm not that crazy about Murray. I haven't.
Well, here's the thing with.
Well, so far so good for my prediction that he wasn't going to be that great, because you kind of have to practice to be great.
Well, here's the question I have for you, Andrew. Is we know last year when Ingram was out that there's a certain level of competence that Sean Payton has to have from the running backs, not Kamara, to say, okay, we're not going to give Kamara the extra touches and extra carries. And Mike Gillislee didn't reach that level, right? So the Giants game, the Cleveland game, they gave Kamara extra touches and just said, fuck it, we're gonna do it, and Ingram will be back, and then we'll ramp it back down. So what's the level that Murray has to reach to where Sean Payton will be comfortable enough to not overwork Kamara?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. I think they shut Adrian Peterson down pretty quick because he was having 10 carry for 29-yard type of game.
They had Kamara ready to go.
They did, but at first they were trying to force it with Peterson a little bit, and when you're averaging 2.9 per carry, you can't really justify playing the guy. So
Would they have tried to?
I think
go
it would have
with
been different if
Peterson
he had
more?
10 carries for 56 yards. You know what I'm saying?
But if they wouldn't have had Kamara, would they have kept giving the ball to Peterson?
See, I don't think so. I think they would have reached a point where Sean Payton would have gotten mad about fumbles like he did with Gillislee. Gillislee fumbled and he was like, I'm done. I'm done. You know, like I think he'll tolerate a fumble or two if you're ripping long runs. But if you're getting 2 yards, -1 yard, 4 yards, 3 carries for 7 yards, and then you fumble, you're done. Sean Payton won't give you the ball again.
Yeah, I mean it'll be interesting. I mean I joke about my free agent UDFA adopted son Ozigbo, but Dwayne Washington, at least he looked pretty good against Carolina, so he may be a guy that's sneaky good. And this means nothing, of course, but they have this like score that this guy created where he takes all your measurables and gives you a draft score, and they call it the RAS score. Dwayne Washington had the highest RAS score that a Lion player has ever had. So he's got like the physical skills at least to be a good running back. Like Dwayne Washington has them all. So
He had over 100 yards, didn't he?
yeah, against Carolina.
Yeah. Week 17, though, nobody's trying.
Carolina was that quarterback that was like the 4th-string dude that they signed on Wednesday. He was trying very hard.
Yeah, well, the receivers and the quarterbacks try because they're running routes and pitching and catching. I mean, physically tackling. Nobody's doing that.
No one was tackling. So, Dave, before we get to the chat room questions and the questions that people asked on Twitter, where do people need to go if they wanted to purchase tickets to the Saints preseason opener Friday?
Well, that's a good question. I'd like to take a second to introduce our friends from SeatGeek. Let them take the confusion out of your ticket buying experience. Instead of shopping dozens of sites to find the best deal, let SeatGeek do the work for you. Their app scans the web for the best deals to your favorite game, concert, or show, and rates them on a scale of 0 to 10 to let you know if you are getting the best bang for your buck. A green dot marks great deals, yellow dot, good deals, and red dot, not so good deals. Use promo code ACAA at checkout to receive $20 off your first purchase. That's 2 free beers at the stadium on them. What are you waiting for? That's promo code ACAA for $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
God damn it. Even when Dave is mediocre by his reading standard, it's still like so much better.
Even when I don't know that you're serving me the ad copy and I have to scramble to find the text message
Still better than
quickly to avoid any sort of silence or delay.
Still better than me. Still better than me. God
Dave's
damn it.
categories.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, Ralph got.
So let's go. We got a bunch of Twitter questions tonight. This is from John. Juge math. What is 85 divided by 3? And did the Patriots purposely troll the Falcon with Tom Brady's latest 3-year contract extension? It's because he averaged $28.3 million.
85 divided by 3 is like 28 and change, right?
28.3.
There you go. But yeah, I think that was somebody said this on Twitter, I think, but yeah, that felt like a tribute to 28 to 3. It really did. Or 28 to 2, as Dave called it earlier. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where Mickey Loomis has set that trend now. Now it's a thing, and teams are realizing. I had never seen that done before, and I really think Loomis was the first one to do it. Maybe that's just my biased Saints fan, rose-colored glasses, but I don't think I have ever seen a GM do it before, and I think other GMs are hip to it now. And I love it, man. I think it's only, the giving him his raise after free agency, once training camp has started, is another interesting layer because I feel like more teams are going to start to do that too.
Well,
I think they're going to start to be like, yeah, we'll give you your raise, but hold off until we can make the team better and add a bunch of dudes. And then as soon as training camp starts and we have a little space after we sign the rookies and done all that business, we'll cut a guy. You know, once someone looks garbage in training camp like Cam Meredith, we'll cut a guy. And then we'll just give you that cash because it's too late to sign a free agent.
Not going to work here anymore anyway. Yeah, Mr. Mike.
So, no, the interesting thing that you mentioned, Andrew, on The Ringer, they were talking about Mickey Loomis, how he does cap, and they compared him, like, Mickey Loomis operates like the people that caused the housing crisis operate, where they just don't care about the future. And it's just,
I heard that. I was dying laughing.
It was fantastic. I literally tweeted the guys like, Robert Mays, come on our podcast and explain this to our fans. This is amazing. But the thing is, the Saints.
What did he say? Is he coming?
He didn't respond.
We might have a guest coming though, thanks to our buddy Jim Gleason.
Yeah, we might.
Rob,
we might
you wanna,
have.
You want to tease
Steve?
Yeah, you can tease it. And also,
we might be getting the lawyer from that lawsuit. Come on the show.
Oh yes.
And if Hannah comes through, lovely marketing person, if she comes through and delivers us Thomas Morstead, we'll really have this podcast rocking, and we'll have a ton more listeners. So I'm trying to get that worked out with the lovely Hannah. We're trying to coordinate times and dates when Thomas Morstead can come on with us. So be on the lookout for that. Just a little tease for the peoples. But yeah, I mean, the Saints, they do the salary cap. They do two things, right? They always bet on the salary cap going up, and they just put in voidable years and say, fuck it. When Drew Brees leaves, it's going to be a mess anyway, probably, so we'll worry about it later. And Andrew, I think you're right. I think teams are starting to get hip with it, especially New England. Like, why they gave away Garoppolo, so like, why are they worried about the future? Just like, do what you need to do to try to win a 7th ring, I guess. Let's see. This is a good question from the Orthanajanin. I butchered that name. Alize Mack has been out for a couple days, Dave. When does Diana Rossini break the Boo Williams signing?
That's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know whether you pronounce. Is it Alize? Alize Mack?
Alize Mack.
Alize. All right. Well, I knew whatever it is. I knew Ralph didn't say it right. Yeah, that would be
Tough but fair.
What is Boo? Tough but fair. What is Boo Williams doing these days?
I don't know.
Nothing good.
He was a favorite. I loved him.
I loved him, but I'll never forgive him for dropping that touchdown against Cincinnati in 2002. I'll never forgive him.
Nor should you.
Eric asked, Andrew, without Tommy Lee looking like Marshall Faulk against the Fist Stringers, will we even know it's preseason?
You know, I may be in the minority here, but with JT Barrett cut, like maybe they'll bring him back. But right now, Breeze is not going to play, so we're going to get tons of Bridgewater and Taysom Hill, and
this is going to be awesome.
I think this is going to be as exciting of a preseason as there's ever been for the Saints because they're actually going to play two guys that can make things happen, even with a garbage line or, you know, I just feel like Taysom Hill, especially in the second half, like he can just make things happen with his feet. So even if the line breaks down or if the receivers are awful, he can still kind of manufacture stuff. So really, there's no excuse for the Saints not curb stomping everyone because they really have two guys that theoretically, I mean, they haven't Taysom Hill, a guy that plays in the league. He actually plays on Sundays, and Bridgewater could start for at least some teams. So they really, from a quarterback standpoint,
a degenerate gambler would have the Saints as a very, very, very strong second half team. A strong team to bet in second halves of preseason games. If you were a degenerate gambler and did such things, which maybe
which Ralph,
which I am, there's no doubt. I
Since we started the show, I get asked all sorts of questions about who to bet on and who to bet with. I don't always know who's going to win, but I do know where to go. The answer is my bookie. Between their live, oh sorry, I thought we were talking about game. I thought you were.
Your cue to go.
I thought you were queuing me up again. Sorry.
My bookie, they're wonderful. Dave, should the Saints suspend Michael Thomas for some preseason game in order to teach him a lesson about missing 5 days of camp?
Oh yeah, because that president that's ever been done before. Let's start with Michael Thomas.
This is a good question, Andrew. This is from Jacob. Now that Cat Terrell is officially back, are we doomed to 7-9?
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that.
I hope. Was this a Twitter question?
This is a Twitter question. Yes.
Please tell me he tagged her.
He did.
Yes.
I tagged her. I sent her a tweet. I was like, Cat Terrell comes back. First day she's back, Drew Brees isn't practicing. She tweeted at me the Eddie Murphy tapping his forehead. If you don't practice, you can't get hurt. So she kind of owned me there. I'll give her that. She also her first tweet back. She had, in her profile she tweeted out a picture and she mentioned that this was her at the Greenbrier, which anytime you bring up the Greenbrier is like toxic.
Man, she's off to a roaring start.
She's off to a roaring start. If this is an interesting question, Dave. If you had the chance to duplicate any current Saints player, who would you choose?
Oh, Taysom, totally Taysom. We need another one of him.
Are we trying to win a Super Bowl, or are we just looking to make this fun, though?
Either.
Well,
I mean, if you had two Taysoms, Andrew, if you had two fucking Taysom Hills, you could have 3 quarterbacks.
I mean, the answer is obviously Michael Thomas. Give me 2 Michael Thomases.
Well, no, the
period.
Answer,
end of story.
I guess you can't.
The end. The end.
Well, the question was.
Now wait a minute. What if are we cloning them? Like, is this like multiplicity?
I would maybe
where they automatically make a copy?
Cam Jordan as a rebuttal, but it's got to be one of those two. Those are the only answers.
Well,
is it like a clone where they have to be born and they have to go through life?
So they're not. No, they're ready made. You plug them in.
Benefit of it. So it's like multiplicity. It's like 4 Michael Keaton.
Yeah, okay. You plug them in.
I got.
Now, do you have to pay them the same amount though?
I think if I could,
because then 2 Taysom Hills is starting to feel better if you have to pay him the same salary.
I think I'm doing Lattimore.
Ooh, that would be good. Man,
I'm going Lattimore, and I'm just.
But Eli Apple is Lattimore. Haven't you seen how good he's been doing in camp?
Let's not
be crazy. Eli Apple is on the way to the middle of November. Us being
pay that man his money.
Like he's just. It's on fire. I'm so mad at myself. It was my 2 choices in my training camp preview were P.J. Williams or Eli Apple for my veteran that the media gushes over, and I picked P.J. Williams, and I will never forgive myself for that.
Well, that's why
you blew that one.
He's doing so well.
It was as bad as my TV appearance on Channel 4.
If you had picked Eli Apple, it would have been P.J. Williams. So.
Who's a better? This is from Coach Mike, Andrew. Who's better at running screenplays? Alvin Kamara or P.T. Cruiser?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say that, man, that's tough. Ingram is sneaky good at that too. Ingram never got his due, but he ran the screens well. I think it's a little tougher for Kamara because he's never really a blocking decoy. I think the thing about Ingram and PT is that they were such good blockers that a lot of times it looked like they were just setting up for pass pro. And so a lot, people would forget about them, and then they could kind of bury themselves behind a couple offensive linemen, and it looks like a double team. And then boom, Breeze lofts the ball. With Kamara, they're paying so much attention to him that it's just hard for him to get away with pulling off a screen pass. Most of the time it's more like he'll even sometimes be in the slot or, he's running a route from out of the backfield, but it's rare that you're seeing screens to Kamara really be effective. And I don't know that it's necessarily that he's not good at it. It's more just Ingram and PT Cruiser, when they were in the game, they were pass protecting so much and they were both very good at it that there was the decoy element.
Yeah, PT.
So I would pick PT. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the drunk history on the Meach Around game on Friday. By the way, that'll post eventually. And we found a
that was a
YouTube
great one.
clip of the game, and me and the patron, whose name I forget it now.
Big
We
surprise there.
Well, I was
Better than mispronouncing it.
I was barely functioning. Cause Cody, me, I was barely functioning during the drunk history. I was so plastered. But Cody found a YouTube clip that I embedded into the post when it goes live, and me and him were following along, watching the highlights that you'll be able to do when you listen to the podcast. And PT hit like 2 screens, and it just reminded me how magical he was. Although I was so drunk, it may not have been PT. It may have been Reggie Bush. I can't be for certain who it is.
Oh, God, I love me some PT. Wait, was that the same game as the Unknown Whodad, or was that a different game indeed?
No, the Meach Around game was the Unknown Whodad.
Yeah.
It was the same game?
Yeah,
Okay.
same game.
Yeah. Were you at that game, Andrew?
I was not.
Yeah.
Can we get the Unknown Whodad on the fucking podcast? How do we get that guy? Let's bring that guy.
I feel like he was on some news station, and it was just a terrible call.
It was
it was just like, oh, like why could not he just be this figment of my imagination where I just picture him and imagine what he's like? The minute he was on behind a mic, talking on camera, it was just all lost for me.
I mean,
I could see that.
It was terrible.
He looked a little homeless.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey, Dave, he talked a little homeless.
Not as bad as me, not as bad as the idea of putting me on TV, but in the same neighborhood. So
It's true. He didn't have a cat jump behind him. It could have been worse.
my wife is
My wife
is petrified because the cat will pee on the backsplash in our kitchen, and she is scared that it will be on the TV. So it's but it
I
won't
love
happen.
that. I love that Paulson's always introducing you as in being in your mom's basement. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's rude of him to do that.
But
that's insulting to mothers everywhere.
But we're gonna fix the cat problem because I'm gonna get a backdrop, so we won't have any cat chaos.
Oh, thank God!
Except when the cat jumps on it and tears it down.
Oh, that's happening. I am here for that.
The cat knocking it into me. I fall over, and then I'm just on dead spin.
Hey, maybe Dave will tune into that one.
He probably would. So let's get out of here. Let's make predictions on the game. Not score. No one cares about that. But Andrew, who is going to be the star of the game? Who gets the glowing feature from The Athletic, NOLA.com / The Advocate, all the TV station? Who's going to get the glowing profile of having a wonderful, wonderful Friday night for the Saints?
Well, I got a hot take, so go ahead and play the horn. But I think this game is. I don't want to oversell this. And now, if you donate, then you listen to our podcast, which goes every day. We do this every single
day.
If you need your Saints news or your fix and you like this show, you should donate, become a patron so that you can get access to our daily show.
Last week, we had 7 freaking podcasts that you got if you're a monthly patron and paid $7, because you got the one every day, but you got 2 extra ones because we did breaking news on Cam Meredith getting cut, and we did breaking news for Michael Thomas getting the contract.
Yep.
All right,
So
will you guys text me when you do them? Because sometimes I might be available in the morning, and I would be down to jump in for 15 minutes.
Hell yeah.
Andrew, you can 3-way.
I can 3-way it. Yep, I can do that.
Oh,
yep.
You can 3-way it, all right.
So anyway, you should donate so you get access to that. But what I teased this morning when we talked about this game is that, and I don't want to oversell it too much because it's a preseason game, but I think for a couple reasons. The first, this is a huge game for Teddy Bridgewater. I think the first thing is he's going to get an opportunity probably to start, and if not start, certainly play a lot with the number ones, the number one offensive line. He didn't really get a chance to do that in Week 17. That's the first thing. The second thing is he's never played a preseason game with the Saints. This is really his first training camp. This is his first time getting reps, getting a chance to really learn the offense. It's much harder to do that when he was traded for during the season because he never really was practicing much. I mean, Breeze was getting all the reps. So this is kind of his chance, and he plays the Vikings, his old team. And I mentioned this on the podcast this morning. We're going to find out a lot about Bridgewater here because he's either going to be nervous and he's not going to play that well, or he's a stone cold killer. And if he's like Breeze, and Breeze, make no mistake, is a stone cold killer. If Bridgewater is wired that way, he's going to come out here and he will light the Vikings up completely. And that's what I need to see from him to make me believe and make, I think, the Saints fan base believe that he can be the quarterback of the future for this team. So, again, I don't want to oversell it. He could have a bad game and bounce back, but I really think this is huge for Bridgewater, and he's got to have a big game, and I think he's going to.
Well, I'm going to say, even if he does have a big game, I mean, that's great, and obviously that's what we want to see, but I'm still going to take it with a grain of salt because it's preseason. He's not going against anything spectacular, and I think we should not have such a short memory of his game in the final week of the season last year when he was actually playing against true NFL caliber talent.
So, Dave, are you saying who's going to be your star?
Who do I think is going to be the star?
Yeah. If you say mine, I'm going to be so mad.
Well, I mean, like if Emmauel Butler plays, he's probably going to be the star. He's probably going to keep doing what he's been doing. I think he definitely needs to play. He's going to want to play. I don't know.
It would be really stupid of him not to play.
Well,
I mean, if he can go at all, he's got to.
Right, totally. I just don't know what the severity of his injury is, but yeah, I think that there will be. I'm going to go with. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go.
We lost Dave. Repeat yourself, Dave.
No, you didn't lose me. I just decided to stop talking over the ridiculous loud, long train horn.
Can you just pick Anzalone so he'll play the Mario theme?
No, I'm going with. Okay. I'm gonna go with Traquan Smith.
God damn it!
I love how you really made him sweat it out too, Dave.
And I really truly did not know that that's who Ralph's guy was. But I mean, I think he's.
What about today? Is today the worst day of your life? Yeah.
I hate you.
I mean, well, Ralph, this wouldn't happen if you sent out the topics beforehand and we discussed this before the show, but you leave me to just wing it. So
people like the rambling, incoherent mess of this podcast. We can't mess with the formula.
Anyway, I mean, I don't know what is. You think Mike Thomas is going to play at all? I'm thinking if he does, only a little bit. So I mean, I think that kind of makes Traquan like the number one guy for the night. So, he's got to shine. Right? It'd be great to see him shine, and he should shine.
All right, since you stole my guy,
I was dancing around. I was like, maybe this guy. No, I'm gonna go with Traquan.
You stole my pick. I'm gonna go Jared Cook is gonna catch a nice 25-yard seam route and get everybody fired up. I hate you. I hate all you people. You read the ads better than me. I had a little Traquan Smith. I had a little monologue soliloquy ready to fire off. You just
we could still
ripped it out
come
from
on.
under me.
Ooh, Skooks.
comes in at the 11th hour with player of the game will be Zion.
There you go.
Will Zion, will he be on the sideline for the game?
Zion, dude! They got Zion! They got Zion! Oh, I've never been this happy! Oh, this is great! They got Zion!
That will forever be my favorite sound bite in the history of sound bites.
It would really. I gotta figure out a way to put it in an open that doesn't confuse people, because if they listen to the podcast for the first time and they hear that, it would really confuse them, and they'd be like, I'm not even going to listen to 20 seconds of this podcast because I thought it was a Saints podcast, and it's not. It's a Pelicans one. But we'll figure something out. So thanks to everybody in the chat room. Thanks to all the new people signing up the last couple of weeks with the breaking news. It's been great. We are happy to have you. You'll be getting a koozie and a magnet. You get Andrew's grades if you're at the $10 level. It's amazing. You get the screensaver if you sign up. So thanks to everybody for signing up. We appreciate it. It's going to be a great year. We will see you tomorrow. We'll see you for Friday for the post-game show. So it's been awesome. Tonight was a rambling, incoherent mess, but these are my favorite kind of shows. So for Dave, for Andrew, for Kevin, who is working some kind of breaking news in St. Louis, I'm Ralph. Until next week, the bar is closed.